Hello, how's it going? Donovan the Prince Santiago reporting from my private penthouse in Brazil. Obviously not at TCW, and I won't be at TCW this week because I know Hellfire is gonna try to get his stinky little hands on me. So I'm was granted by TPC to be here and come back whenever I please. But now I'm going to reveal Mr. Hellfire's secret. Yes, the secret you've all been waiting for, all of you out there on the internet, all of you out there in Transcendent Championship Wrestling and every other single wrestling federation around the globe. Here is his secret. So here's how it begins. Your dad, Hellfire's dad, was involved with a satanic cult. They all hailed Satan. They all loved Satan. They all slit their wrist for Satan. And this man became more and more of a demon every single day as time went on. As time went on, he wasn't even a man. He was just a goddamn demon. And then one day, he wanted a child. He wanted an offspring to continue his cult, his bloodline, so to speak. So he found a young, innocent, underage woman, might I add, to do this, to perform the dirty with him, and basically be pregnant with his demon spawn. And then he was like, he wanted control of this woman. So he locked her up in a basement to shackles on a bedside, and nothing but candles around the bedside, and occasionally feeding her and giving her water for 9 long months until finally the child was born. But during these 9 months, he had beaten her senseless to the fact that she had permanent blood always on her, and the first taste that Hellfire's got of life, of his mom's kiss, was that of a bloody kiss. But this child that was born was Hellfire, and that was his first taste. Blood. And then one night, Hellfire's dad could have sent his bitch of a mother to hell, but he decided not to. So the father was tempted to continue to torture her. So he took blades to her and cut 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 her, leaving permanent scars, might I add. But she was wounded and she was finally able to escape with little baby Hellfire. And they escaped and they ran and they ran and they ran and they ran for so goddamn long. Until finally they stopped running and decided to settle down, start a new life in Yonkers. All was fine for a long time. However, the kids would always constantly bully and bully little Hellfire because he was such an ugly kid. And his mom had so many scars on her, and his mom was always sleeping with a new man every week, I guess to fill the void and the temptation. And the whole town knew. The whole small town in this area knew. He was constantly made fun of it. Your mom's a slut. You're ugly. You'll never amount to anything. Bullied and bullied and bullied and bullied. Day in and day out at school. And finally he was embarrassed one day. And he just had so much hatred built up inside of him that he ripped one of the bullies' eyes out. He slashed one of the other bullies' necks. And then he bit off the ear of another bully just to send a goddamn warning that you don't mess with me. Which, by the way, he later killed him because he was a witness to the murders. So he hunted him down and choked him out behind a dumpster. And for a while, kids would disappear in his town every night. And Hellfire, his mom, would always see him digging and digging in the back of the garden. She thought it was simple yard work. He was burying bodies. And night after night, every kid who bullied Hellfire would disappear and disappear and disappear. To where nobody knew. Nobody knew. He was that methodical. He knew how to hide the bodies. He knew how to clean up. He knew all this stuff. It was all ingrained in him because he had been tortured for so long in life. He was a perfect killer. So he murdered and continued to murder until one day his mom was gardening. She noticed a foul stench in the garden. She then realized, as she continued to garden, she saw a hand, an eye, a face. She knew these were the missing kids. She knew her son was the killer. But she loved him. She loved his son so much. So much. So Hellfire decided to finally get rid of the bodies. He burned them. Late one night, each body was burned. His mom helped him burn the bodies when they brought it out to a nearby river, and they burned the bodies. She helped. She helped because she loved him. She loved. That was her flesh and blood. She's not going to let him get caught by the police, get caught by law enforcement. She loves him. She helped. She drove the car. They lit the bodies on fire. Whatever was left, put into a trash compactor. Destroyed. Got mangled up. Destroyed the car right afterwards. Drove it into a lake. Got rid of the evidence. And then they continued to live peacefully for about 2 years. Until finally, at the age of 19, Hellfire comes back home. And guess what? His dad returned. And it seemed like everything was okay. It seemed like his dad turned over a new leaf. It seemed like life was going to be good for the Hellfire clan. It wasn't until Hellfire woke up and found his mom hanging, courtesy of his dad. That's right. Hellfire's dad came back, and he wanted to finish what he started. He wanted to kill his mom, and he did. He did. And then while Hellfire was distracted and crying with emotion and wondering about his mom, his poor little mom, bam, he was knocked out, strapped to a chair, and tied up. Strapped and tied up are the same goddamn words. Where he was forced day in and day out to endure the same suffering that his mom once did when she was pregnant. He would watch TV with subliminal messages about Satan and devil and killing and murder. And it was ingrained in him, ingrained, and for months he was there, strapped. And finally, he was being corrupted without everything, gluttony and lust and all these bad things flowing through his veins, bringing out the murderer that had settled down in the back of him was coming back and making him insane. It was like going through the 9 circles of hell, Hellfire once told me. After he was brainwashed, he was sent off to an asylum for 5 years. That's right, his dad just left him on the doorstep of an asylum. He was quivering in the fetal position, scared. And when the people came out and saw this quivering 20-year-old, he immediately attacked. And they immediately committed him to the asylum. For 5 years he was in the asylum, and he was the most dangerous inmate in that asylum, breaking somebody's neck, biting off somebody's fingers, slashing somebody's throat when he had the chance, and then once again hiding that body, because he had become accustomed to it. It was like second nature to him. So he was sentenced to life in the asylum until one day, Andrew Gonzalez, Fat Nick, they came looking for new recruits for the Purge. And I told them specifically, this is back then, I told them, I don't like you two, but I want you to find the two meanest people you can that will be able to wipe out the cult. Of course, they only really found one. The other one was, you know, he got a little soft eventually. That other one, and we haven't seen him since Hellfire destroyed him. I'm not gonna mention his name. No need to. I'm too much of an awesome person to mention his name, but that's not the point. So they found him, and Hellfire agreed, as long as he could find his dad and destroy him, he would owe he would owe his life to the Purge. So Andrew Gonzalez and Fat Nick helped him find his dad. And then late one night, while his dad was sleeping, he cut out his dad's heart and then cut off his head slowly and painfully. And then afterwards, Hellfire ate the heart. That's right, he took a bite as his dad was looking at him with his last breath, as his heart still connected to his body, as he's bleeding out of the neck. And then afterwards, Hellfire finished decapitating him. The Purge knew they chose this member well, and knew that he would demolish anybody who got in their way. So they gave him a new life. I signed a contract for the time. Now he could hurt people whenever he damn well pleased. He could unleash his aggression, and he did. He's a former tag team champion, for God's sakes. But Hellfire, he never led a normal life. He's been born and raised and ingrained with this in his head, and that's his secret. He's a murderer. He's a killer. He was committed to a goddamn asylum. He killed his dad and then ate his goddamn heart. That's his secret. That's his whole story. And this was sent to me via email from an amazing person, of course, who will be revealed when the time is right. I'm not going to be here this Sunday, of course, because I know Hellfire. He's going to be mad when he sees this video. I mean, I'd be mad too, but I don't have any secrets. What? I don't know. A great dresser. I look good. That I'm a staple of Transcendent Championship Wrestling. We know that. That's no secret. I enjoy movies. You know, that I'm one of the most viewed superstars. No, everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. TPC respects me. I respect TPC and the Elite. And Boondocks and Wayne Gracie, Bianca Bergzero, all the future of Transcendent Championship Wrestling. You people need to see that. That's not the point of this video. But that's the story of Hellfire. Now, I've got better things to do. I've actually got to talk to my agent. So, yeah, enjoy Hellfire. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of fun.